If you've been watching me for the last few weeks and you've been quietly wondering, why is a nurse doing hair? Why beauty? Out of all the things a nurse with 30 years of experience could be doing on the side, why this? I'm going to give you the actual answer in the next 8 or so minutes. Not the polished version, but the real one. So stay with me, because honestly, when I first was introduced to this, I'm like, I am not doing that. So I could give you the easy version. I love hair. It's so fun. You'd nod, the video would end, you'd forget about it by Tuesday. But that's not the real answer, and you came here because you want the real one. So let me actually do this honestly. Here's what I noticed in 30 years of nursing, and I didn't notice it on purpose. I noticed it because I was paying attention to my coworkers, who are the most exhausted women I know. Their hair was telling on them. Thinning at the temples, breakage right where the ponytail elastic sits, the exact same spot on a lot of the nurses, every single time. Dullness from never being in the sun, dryness from washing their hair fast in hospital showers with whatever the cheapest shampoo at Target was that week, scalps that hadn't been touched gently in years. You can read how depleted a woman is by looking at her hair. And we are a deeply depleted group of women. But here's the part that actually got my attention, because it would have been easy to clock the hair problem and move on. The other thing I noticed, and once you see it, I'm telling you, you cannot unsee it, is that when a healthcare worker's hair starts looking good again, something shifts in her. She walks taller, she makes better eye contact, she stops apologizing for taking up space. She makes that decision she's been putting off. She has a hard conversation. She buys herself one nice thing without guilt. In essence, her confidence is up. Listen, I'm not telling you hair fixes a woman. Of course it doesn't. But hair is one of the very few things a healthcare worker can actually control in her life. You can't control your schedule. You can't control your census. You can't control the bills. You certainly can't control your manager. But you can make a small decision about your scalp. One small, honest decision. And over weeks and months, you get to see something positive change about your body that you choose. For a group of women who have given their bodies away for years, that small returned piece of control is not vanity. It is medicine. It is therapy. Listen, I had my own version of this. I am a woman in my 50s. Perimenopause did a number on my hair before I even understood what was happening. My hair was dry. My hair was frizzy. I could not manage it at all. And I hated even having it up in a ponytail because it was so puffy. And I told myself, this is just what 50 looks like. Get over it. Somebody introduced me to these products. I tried them, and I expected nothing. I was the most skeptical person in the room, and I was right to be, because most of what gets sold to women our age on the internet does not work, and they bank on you being too tired to demand better. These worked. I could feel the difference after my first wash. Better than it had any right to feel. My scalp felt different in about 10 days. My hair was less frizzy. I wasn't getting the puffiness and the dryness anymore. My hair was coming back, or actually getting to where I wanted it to be. The version of it that hadn't been beaten up by 12-hour shifts and bad water and stress. That was the spark. Not the pitch. The product on my own head that I could feel with my own hands. After I started helping nurses with their hair, I learned things I didn't know going in. Quick list. None of this is product specific. This is just what's true about hair in healthcare. Ponytail breakage and thinning is real. It's specific, and it lives at the exact point your elastic sits. The fix is not stop wearing a ponytail. Nurses can't stop that. The fix is varying where the elastic sits, using fabric-based hair ties and treating the breakage zone with the right products instead of trimming the same inch off every 6 months for 15 years. And I did that even longer. Scalp health matters more, if not the same, than the strand health, and almost everybody gets this wrong. Your hair grows out of your scalp. If your scalp is dry, oily, inflamed, or congested, your hair is going to tell on you, no matter how much expensive conditioner you put on the ends. Stress-related shedding is real, it's tied to cortisol, and it shows up about 3 months after the stressful event. So the shedding you're scared about right now is probably from a hard stretch you had in the spring. The flip side, what you do for your hair today affects what you see in 3 to 4 months. Hair takes time, and hair transformation takes time. There is no overnight fix, and anyone selling you that is lying. It's not too late, though. I cannot stand the messaging that women over 40 or 50 are out of options. Your hair responds to care at any age. Scalp health, length retention, thickness, those things respond when you give them the right inputs. Different products than your daughter needs, by the way. What works for a 28-year-old does not work for a 52-year-old. And those drugstore products, throw them away. This is not a flaw in the 52-year-old. It's just biology. I cannot promise you a specific result, and I will not. Anyone who promises you a specific result on your hair is lying or about to be sued. Everyone's head is different. What I can tell you is that scalp health, length retention, and thickening responds when you stop using products that are mostly water or designed for someone whose life doesn't look like yours. So to answer the original question, why hair? Why beauty of all the things a nurse could be doing? Because it's a place where I can actually move the needle in a woman's life. Not just her bank account, her actual day-to-day experience of being alive in her body and getting her confidence back. Helping a nurse with her hair is not glamorous, and it's not vanity. It's giving her back a small piece of how she shows up in the world. The thing she gave away years ago and didn't realize was missing. So, let me tell you what I do plainly. I help women in healthcare build a business in the beauty industry so that extra shifts become a choice and not a necessity. I picked beauty, and specifically hair, because it's one of the only places I can return something to a healthcare worker that her job has been quietly taking from her for years. That to me is worth building a whole business around. And honestly, it's sustainable, so it's stuff that people are gonna keep buying and keep coming back for. If something in this hit, whether you want to talk about your own hair or you want to talk about doing what I do, or honestly want to just talk to a fellow nurse who gets it, comments start below, nurse to nurse. We'll figure out which conversation you actually want. You don't have to keep telling yourself it's just hair. It was never just hair. So comments start, and let's talk.